One of the first things that I like to go after is the whole relationship with the pelvis, with the spine. Most people know it as the vestibular, but it's the organization of the lower back. It's what gets us into crawl. It's what enables us to be in a neutral position. The more and more that this area in particular is organized, yes, the whole body is important. The pinky is just as important as this area, but this is where I like to let the kids play, like he's doing, and start to work on it. As always, never on the profiles. I'm through the iliac, pelvis, and both, and that's where I'm going, the SI joint and through the sacrum. And other than that, even though I use anatomy, I don't use anatomy. I'm really touching in a way that I'm looking for how my movement is affecting, or how he's responding to my movement as I respond to his movement. However, for most, working with a child that's got hypotonia, the low tone, they almost, since people judge on loose and tight, which really isn't indicative of movement, they think, a low tone child is just not strong enough. It has nothing to do with the organization of the movement. That's a complete and separate view. And I'm more than aware right now of the heaviness of the back, but I'm just acknowledging it. I'm still just staying at the base of the pelvis. It's the whole spine from the tailbone up that needs to know where to go. So now his response is much more clear with me. I can really start, in his case right here, that I've decided to go in through the SI joint. And then the pelvis is just starting to respond. It was responding from the second I touched, but when I say respond, it should hopefully be a lot more visible. That not only the rotation of the pelvis, because as I rotate the pelvis, you can see more of a direct line now going up the spine. See now, right there, he's just coming up over the hand, over his shoulder. And that's what's interesting about the work. Did I work on the hand? Did I work on the shoulder? No, but yes I did, because I'm doing it through the vestibular system. When I touch here, mentally and physically, I can feel how I'm touching the ankle, how the wrist is affected. I'm working on just as much the roll of the pelvis as I am, let's say, the roll of the left wrist going through it. Or because he let that go, maybe through the right ankle. I'm just concentrating continually on the right side. And as he changes, even slightly, then I can change the way I slightly apply my touch. After just this movement here is going in, holding for a second, basically telling his system, I've got the pelvis, you don't have to worry about it as much. What you can't see, but I can feel, is how much now lighter the system's getting, where I can almost sort of toss it. And even though he likes to contort himself in a lot of different ways, you can already see where the back is responding. Now this is where I'm a lot different than he's made some nice changes, so I can just turn around and do other things. Yes, I could, but at the same time, I know I'm hanging out for an hour. I have no problem, especially if I know someone's getting several lessons in a row. Why not organize it to a higher rate? I don't settle. So the argument is, you know, you should be able to make changes within 25 minutes. Well, I could do it just in a couple of minutes, which I've just done. However, now that he's in this position, it's now, even though I'm applying the same movement, it's a different movement because he's applying it differently. And I love that the kids just can play. But notice that the play is appropriate. He's transitioning fine, he's concentrating on it fine, there's no spinning, there's no aggressive tendencies, there's no hyperactive activity from it, whether in his muscles or in his brain. It's just appropriate, and he's enjoying himself. See now the way the vestibular can approach the table. It's different than sitting on the table. He's going to the table. He's going away, he's going up. But the vestibular is just a really nice. And this is you bringing your tush to a car seat or getting out of a booth. It should be. It's not for a lot of people. That's why they grunt. So now the $1,000,000 question, do I continue to go up the back to do it or present more to the legs? In this case, I'm going to go more towards the feet, I've decided. Again, there'd be a tendency more to correct. He's off the chair. Who cares? Oh, you don't have to. So I'm still the same with the pelvis, and now I'm starting to go down towards the thighs. But as you can see, when I go towards the thighs, my touch is still going after the ankle or the foot. What you working with?
Working on that tree I'm creating.
So now right here in this position, I feel that the tonus has changed. So here versus here. See, I'm not getting the rotation. Again, very subtle. See how he just wants to respond here? But if I go here, I'm not getting that. So I hang out. Also, something by touching the hip joint, it's made him really contract through the thigh. There we go. And that's what's neat about the human body. You can go and have a brilliant sequence of movements and go literally a quarter inch off with your fingers and have it completely different. So now that I've worked more on the rotation through the pelvis through here, I'm going after the trochanter and the base of the femur, how it goes into the hip joint. So I'm still applying pressure into the hip joint, but now my work is more with the right hand on the femur. It's always after that torque that I work with. So you notice I'm not just pushing in, it's a twist push. So now the pelvis is moving to respond, and now the whole knee. Again, I'm back to concentrating on how the foot applies to the floor, off of the thigh. And for some reason, I feel a hesitance right in here, so now I'm going to go down to the foot. Very simple and similar principles work with the pelvis, with the hip joint. Stay around here, but it's a push twist of the foot into the lower leg. Just as much as it's going down. The foot has to learn how to go down, just as the tush. Going down, just to going up. Down, going up. Again, it's that torque, that twist. And now to go in there and kind of flex the foot as I'm still working on. And it looks kind of forceful. It's very delicate. But again, notice it's not just a straight lift. It's you got to include that torque. So now what I'm doing, I think, is quite interesting. So what I'm working on is the extension, but right underneath the arch, from the heel to the arch, that little bit. So I'm here with my thumb, but I'm wrapped around the foot like this. And what I'm doing is I'm leaving the heel here, but it's like I'm lightly picking up the foot, but I'm not picking up the foot. See how I'm lifting up through the arch? And then bringing it back down. Okay, so again, the thumb up here approximately, depends on the person's foot, and the rest of the fingers are going in the middle of the arch. Same thing over here. So I'm taking over any concerns for the balance of the foot. I want the foot to know that I've got it. Again, as you can see, he's playing around. I don't care. So I'm lifting up through the arch, but the heel stays there. So what it is that the foot, just like the hand, see how my hand's here, but I can extend out and reach. You see these complications, let's say with strokes, cerebral palsy, where the hand can no longer extend anymore. It has to grab. And the foot does the same thing. The foot should look for a floor. The foot should look for a stair, the car floor, whatever. But in lots of cases, the extension gets traumatized. Okay, but on this, I'm going to need you to keep your foot around here. So by that twist and allowing, I can get into all, there we go, the little metatarsals. And I don't know if you can see how the toes now want to extend and come down to the floor. But I'm doing this through the arch. See now here, see how I can twist the foot? Look at the extension coming just from that little bit of the foot. There we go. Here I'm actually using my palm to get in and see how the toes go and work on the extension. You really need to, again, not so much to study the anatomy, but look at the metatarsals, all the small bones in here. And because of lots of things, whether it be shoes, orthotics, life, whatever, just not working on the foot, the movement in that area becomes just traumatized. So now here I'm leaving the heel on the ground and I'm pulling up through here. But what I'm doing is it's working on really the extension through the arch. And now I'm going down, again that twist, into the lower, or the ball of the foot. So see how my hand's down here, I'm not supporting, it's not a muscular, so just the width of my hand's pulling up the ball, but as it does this, I'm actually, see, a light twist into the metatarsals, into the top of the ankle. Notice how I'm moving the toes down instead of the flex up. So now I've changed that. It's going to be a little bit harder. So I'm coming in here again, anchoring the metatarsals or the top of the ankle into the into the foot. Same thing, I'm lifting up through the big toe, see my lift, and bringing the toes down. So I'm demanding that twist through the ball of the toes and through the arch. See the extension going down and lift going up. So I'm expecting the foot to actually twist in this kind of a torque in this manner. Now I'm going up the whole toe. See the whole toe. So lift and twist. Put the foot where it's comfortable. So now, see, just naturally, look at the extension. Oh, here. So now just naturally, see now how the feet, the extension, all that from all that archwork. You can do it through the whole foot. I'm going to show you the opposite foot. I haven't worked on this foot just to show you the difference. See that response, that lift is just not naturally there. It's showing itself a little bit, much more present. Now he's playing with his toes, so it's hard to. So now I can work on the left, right, almost like milking a cow. Same, but with the bend of the toes. So now I can go back to the twist and see if that got any different. And here you can see how subtly I can just go up, down, side to side. Rolling the pelvis. Just see how rolling the pelvis. See how quickly this tush responds. So now I'll go to the upper back. And as I always say, this is just one avenue of how to do it. There should be a natural rotation torque through the spine. I'm finding it a little different right through here. So again, this is just where I've decided I'm going to land. But notice, very similar to the pelvis, I'm here around the rib cage. And I'm trying to draw the rib cage back. Oh, by the way, just that little bit to the back, into the pelvis, to show the difference, just from having that little bit of stimuli. For that brief second, he went into more of a natural arch. I changed what I was doing to try and organize that a tad better for him. So instead of going from round to round, I went in. So when I push in, it's a push, a little bit of a lift, and then that torque. Just watch it. I have a big string where his spine is. His spine is doing all these wonderful movements with the rib cage, with his organs. It really, the spine is soft. It's very supple. That's why when you start messing with the back with surgeries, you just have no idea what you're getting into. There's so many, especially when the surgery is there to, quote, create mobility, as in. Don't get me wrong, yes, there are situations where you know that, but in more cases out of not, if you notice people that have had, especially surgeries to the back, it hasn't gone like they were told it was going to. Here I'm just gently, in a sense, pulling the spine, but down. But I'm pushing into the floaters as well. Right here is the rotation. There you go. Thanks, bud. Notice too more how the leg is just flopping around. He's in sitting. He doesn't need the leg to stabilize the system. So it's just a flag. As his energy changes, or as I should say energy, I don't mean woo-woo. As his movement changes, the energy in the system, legs just wobble with it. Here you can see how nice the leg just goes boop boop with it, even though he's, quote, in a half stand sit. So I'm looking to rotate. I've got the clavicle and the scapula. So I'm rotating that around the rib cage.
Really, Mom?
Yeah, really. What is wrong? Is that tickle? Just slouching and bringing up again. Slouching and bringing up again. Slouching, bringing up again. Now he's doing it for me. What? Am I tickling you? What? Oh, let's do that again. Did you have fun at the water park?
Yeah, this is an aquatic center.
It's a water park.
Not important. About that's not important right now.
It's not important, but boy, you were laughing hard. And it's still a water park then if it's not important.
It is an aquatic center.
Water park.
Not very large of a water park, so that's why you don't call it a water park.
So here it looks like I'm just touching, but it's a touch with a lift. It's one thing with the hypotonia too, is they tend to have it where it more compacts down just because of the muscle tone versus lifting. This lift is nice for lots of reasons, but right now I'm doing it for him for that reason. How are you doing with your movement lesson? Keep going?
Pretty good.
Keep going, you almost done? What's up?
Almost done.
So I've got the base of the scapula with the ribs, and I'm bringing the system down. Down and obviously rotating towards me. This really works on the balance through the system, through this area. I really fight this balance that people feel is an inner ear thing. Every little area of a human body has balance. When it's not there, you really see it. Kids that don't breathe well because they're on their backs too long, or they haven't learned that these kind of ways of playing or hanging out is okay. So that's where they have maintained a more of a, quote, fixed position than just a relaxed. It's the same reason why people have stress, because they can't just allow to, in a sense, chill out with breathing or balance. You have no idea how subtle I believe balance is in our system and how important. I'm not talking about, walking a tightrope over the Grand Canyon. It's just why we have issues of blood pressure. When your balance starts to fatigue or not be as organized or have trauma, blood pressure should automatically go up because your circulatory system is working too hard on both. That's why most people with age, quote, go on blood pressure medicines. But you'd be surprised if you work on things like this to deal with your subtleties and balance, how it can get you possibly even off medication. That's the beauty of this work. It can be applied solely to you and have results that only you can achieve. However, that's possible with any person, but each person has individual accomplishments or results.